Hello students and welcome to Legacy IAS Academy. In this session, we will be looking at the weaponization of trade. Now this term or phrase was used by the Minister of External Affairs. Okay, so we'll see what this term is all about, what does it mean, what ramifications does it have, and what are the examples of this thing happening across the world. Okay, so what is the news? The news is that, as I said, the External Affairs Minister highlighted this particular concept of weaponization of trade. So trade, there is globalization, there is increase of trade, there is strategic trade that is happening, but it is not limited to that. Rather, what is now happening is the weaponization. So weaponization has happened, and because of it, it has caused job losses and impacted the quality of life of many countries. Two things: job losses and impacting the life of many countries. Now, how will it impact the job losses? To understand that, we will see first what is trade weaponization, and then we will see how it will be impacting job losses as well as the quality of life. Of course, when job is lost, quality of life is going to be affected, no doubt, of the people who have lost the job and the people dependent on them. Not just that, if certain restrictions are made, other people's would also not get the benefit of the trade with respect to some imports are even necessary. So if that is not required, the standard of life can still further go down. If, for example, China stops its export of activated pharmaceutical ingredients, the medical import to the country, even we import it, or any other country, will be affected, because of which people who require certain medicines will not get it, which will do what? Hamper their health. Hampering of health is what? Again, decrease in the quality of life. So not just the quality of life of the people who are losing jobs, but also you can be affected if you do not get the import that were essential for you. Okay, so let us understand about the weaponization of trade. What is this? What happens in trade is, you know that there can be custom duties imposed. Why do we impose custom duties? So that there is not too much infiltration of the imports from other countries, okay, products of other countries, so that the internal, local or regional or the indigenous industries are not hampered. Now, you cannot keep too high custom duties. Of course, some developing countries, including India, do have high custom duties than other countries who are developed, because there is a reason for that. We are still developing, technological advancement is not that high, industrial development is not that much, as a result of which we need some amount of protection. So we have a reason for that, genuine reason. WTO basically oversees all these things, right? Now, other countries also do it. So custom duties are a part of it, that is all right. But what happens is, when the trade is used as a tool for foreign policy measures. See, trade is what? You need something, I need something, we exchange it. Or I have money, I need something, you have, I give you money, you give me that thing. You want something that I have, you give me money, I give you that thing, product or services, right? Now, this is what trade is. But what happens is, there can be various other reasons. You want something from me which I have, you are ready to pay the money, but I may still not give you. Why? Not because someone else is asking or ready to take from me at a higher price. No. Just because there are certain other things that I want from you, and I will keep this thing with me so as to influence you or put pressure on you to ensure you do as I say, right? So what is happening here? I am using this trade between us to pressurize you for certain other things which may not be related to trade, which can be related to some other elements of trade, but not necessarily related to trade. It can be related to defense, it can be related to geopolitics, it can be related to supporting me on an international organization's platform, it can be related to supporting me in United Nations voting decisions, so on and so forth. And I can do that based on, pinching you where it hurts with respect to the trade. If I do that, that will be weaponization of trade, right? You are including geopolitics, you are including defense, you are including various other elements in trade, that is weaponization of trade. And you are the person or the country in power has the power to actually suffocate the other person, that is weaponization of trade. So it refers to the use of trade as a tool of foreign policy. As a tool of foreign policy. So just take an example of voting in United Nations. I want you to vote for, let's say, Ukraine-Russia war is going on and people were voting to stop the war, this, that. So I want you to vote in a particular way. Let's say I want you to give X vote. Now you, on the other hand, want to vote in a Y manner, right? So the thing should be, we can have a discussion, intellectual discussion based on data, facts, etc., and then try to convince. But, and if then you are convinced, fine, there is no trade weaponization or weaponization of trade. But I'm not doing that. What am I doing is, I'm stopping certain imports from you, I'm stopping certain exports to your country, or I am posting sanctions on you, or I am asking other countries who are my friendly countries to not deal with you. So, and then you realize, why is this person, this country doing like that? Then you understand, okay, our ideologies over this particular thing is different, and since I'm going to vote like this country is not supporting me. Now the ball is in your court. Go ahead and vote like this and face the brunt of the country and the countries with whom this country is friend, or change your stance. So what has happened? I am using trade as a weapon here to influence your geopolitical decisions. Clear? That is what weaponization of trade is. Use of trade as a tool for foreign policy. Okay. So I am basically leveraging what? Leveraging our trade in order to influence you to do things in a particular way. It is a trade leverage over another nation, because of which you will be coercing it to take actions for a specific outcome, as I gave an example of voting on Ukraine-Russia conflict. Okay, of course it aims at fulfilling national security objective, geopolitical gains, etc. It can be used for various other things, anything. It is not restricted to trade, it would be used for various other things. Now what are the key tools for trade weaponization? First is creating impediments to trade. Impediments means creating obstacles to trade. Make it difficult for you to trade. Preventing custom clearances. Your good is being imported by, let's say India is importing a good of, let's not take an example of India because India does not, is not doing trade weaponization. So that, let's take a example which is actually occurring. China, for example. Okay, so China is trading with, let's say, India. They trade with us. So we import certain things to them. So what China would do is, so when we import, they have to approve the good that we are exporting to them. So whatever good we are exporting to them, they have to approve that, and then it enters the country and is sold off, right? So what happens is, at the docks only, at the ship docks only, they are preventing custom clearances and not giving the clearance to Indian exports, because of which what will happen? This may be sent back and our exports will actually not happen. So this is what one of the method. What have they done? They have created an obstacle. So preventing custom clearances, creating certain obstacles concerning environment. The reason could be anything. You know, India exports, let's say, milk, rice, agricultural produce. They will say it has too much of pesticides. You have grown this by harming the environment a lot. So we are all for sustainable development. This is not sustainably produced, etc., etc. Any XYZ reason. Basically wanting to create an obstacle. So environment, biosecurity, intellectual property standard, etc., etc., they can do. Example, in 2022, China blocked the imports of citrus, fish and other foods from Taiwan. Right? See, sometimes this stoppage, this not being able to clear can be genuine also. Yes. But at times it is just superficial, it is not genuine and just done for the sake of it, giving all these XYZ reasons which actually are not there, and previously you were going ahead with such trade, but now you are bringing those particular things, so it is uncalled for, and this is a tool for trade weaponization. Next is sanctions and embargoes. Sanctions and embargoes, the country will apply sanction not for itself but ask their let's say friendly countries also to put sanctions on a particular country. And not just that, they will ask all the countries to put sanction on, let's say, China. USA, let's say, ask all the countries to put sanctions on China, or USA ask all the countries to put sanction on Russia, right? And if other countries do not put sanction on Russia, USA will then say, if let's say X country does not put sanction on Russia, then USA will say, then I will put sanction on you. So coercing this country also to put sanction on Russia, or else USA will put sanction on Russia. So this again, sanctioning and embargoing is again a tool. So what is sanction and embargo? Sanction can be very specific for a particular good, commodity, for trade, for import, export specific. Embargo is a more comprehensive term which is used generically, both more or less means same. So it is selectively cutting off either the imports or exports, or import export both with a particular country. Okay, so then again you are using trade as a weapon. So in example, USA is countering American adversaries, their countries with whom they have antagonistic relation, for example, through sanctions, and these countries are Iran, Russia and North Korea. In fact, few years back, when USA put sanction on Russia, it also asked India to not trade with Russia in crude oil, etc. But India still went ahead and did it. Why? India says we follow a dehyphenation policy. Dehyphenation policy. Dehyphenation policy. This is a hyphen, the dash in between, which links the two words. Dehyphenation means this hyphen is not there. Means what? India's relation with Russia has nothing to do with India's relation with USA, and India's relation with USA has nothing to do with India's relation with Russia. They are independent, dehyphenated, separated. So please do not tell India what it should do. So India, with the help of dehyphenation policy, literally is telling USA and any other country who tries to do things like this that please, you do not tell us what to do. What we should do or not should be related to with respect to our relationship, not with respect to my relationship with Russia or with any other country. Okay. Now, what are the consequences of trade weaponization, because of which protectionism will start? If one country is doing, other countries will also do, and every country will want to keep doing that, creating more challenges, obstacles for imports, leading to protectionism in the entire world. It can lead to trade war also. It can lead to trade war. You are not providing me this, I will not provide you that. You are providing me this at this cost, I will provide you at this particular cost. So this trade war will go, which will make the country, the citizens of the country will pay for that basically. Supply chain disruptions. Now all of a sudden, when there is an embargo or a sanction, the production has already happened, but the supply and everything has stopped. So disruption in the supply. And these things will rot and get expired, get old, get obsolete, and later on when it will start, you don't know, say there is a disruption uncertainty. Now what are the measures to counter trade weaponization? The very first thing is institutional cooperation. Creating an international organization, WTO is there, so WTO should also intervene to ensure that this does not happen. In addition to that, involving forums like Indo-Pacific Economic Framework for Prosperity, Mineral Security Partnerships, etc. Why these forums as well? Because see, WTO is a huge forum, it's a universal forum consisting of 190 plus countries. So you should also have region specific forums wherein the decisions can be quicker. Or else if you take a decision at the complete world level, it will require agreement from so many countries and it will be in a limbo. That is why specific regional based forums is also very much important. Supply chain resilience, diversification of trade basket, promoting innovation and digitization. Diversification means instead of buying crude oil from only, let's say, XYZ country, let us add ABC also. So instead of 3 players, we now have 6 players. So if 2 players want to put an embargo or something, we will still have 4 countries to give us the crude oil. So same we can do, diversify with respect to other commodities as well, and promote innovation as well as digitization for more efficient working. Plus counter strategies. Now see, counter strategies, why it can work, it will work, but it is a dead end, because at the end of the day what will happen, we both are harming each other, both countries harming each other, and the end of the day whichever country is more powerful and less dependent on the other may come up top. So that is not what we want. We want a collaborative cooperation among the countries, right? But for the short term, this also has to be one of the strategy. For the long term, we can look for institutional cooperation in order to address the issue, right? So China +1, business strategy that prevents investing in China, friend shoring, enhancing trade between economic and political allies. So trading more with the friendly countries. But the thing is, there are certain things which are better, more efficient or present because of the nature in certain country. Even if they are enemy, you have to trade. For example, rare earth minerals, activated pharmaceutical ingredients, we have to take it from China. Now we cannot say give me API, activated pharmaceutical ingredient from Russia, because Russia is an ally. Why? Because they don't have that much of let's say production of that. At the same time, rare earth mineral, China has a huge volume of it, and that is based on the geography. They just have it in their land. Now Russia does not. So again, this allied thing will not work for everything, but for certain things it can, and we can use that ally card as well. So this is what trade weaponization is. It can be a very important topic in next year's mains. So please understand this word, and UPSC has a tendency to ask certain words used by the ministers, by the government or in news because of certain XYZ thing. So I hope trade weaponization is clear. This is all about it. Thank you.